Okay, today we'll talk about strings a little bit more and also about the function, and we'll write a function that deals with a string. First, we'll see why we need this function, and then we'll write it and we'll see what it does. So the exercise that I need to do, I need to read a line from the input. So when the program starts, it expects a line, a sentence, and read it and do something with it. So the first attempt that I'm making is to read the line with scanf. If you remember, when we read something from the input, we use scanf. So let's look here. Here's our program, int main, and I define a character array that's called string1, and its size is 100 characters. So I wrote a comment, the line is up to 100 characters long. So this will be the input line that we enter, up to 100 characters. And the second command here is scanf. Scanf, I'm trying to read the string from the input into this variable. And as you know, with scanf, we have to use the address notation. So I wrote the address of string1. So read me the line into the address of string line, and then the next line is printing line entered is, and I'm printing the string1. So I'm hoping that string1 will be printed as a result of reading it with scanf and printing it with printf. So let's see what happens when we run this program. Let's compile it. Build succeeded, and let's run it. So I already have the program here. I call the program getLine. Run it, and it expects a line. So let me write a sentence. Today is a nice day. Hit enter, and what do I get? Line entered is today. It didn't give me the whole line that I entered. I entered today is a nice day, and it only gave me line entered is today. The problem is because what scanf does, if you remember, it reads up to the first space. So here I wrote today is a nice day, and after today there is a space. So scanf only read the today into the string, and therefore it printed the string1 as today. So what do I need? I need a function that will overcome this problem of scanf and read the entire sentence that I write regardless of the spaces. So I can't use scanf. I'll put it into a comment, make it a comment. So now I'll show you a function that I wrote that will do the job that we need to do, and I call that function getLine. So here before the main, I declare the function, and this function doesn't have to return any value because all it does, it reads from the input. And what I will do is I gave it a character array parameter, right? Because the empty brackets designate a character array with no designation of length. So this is the declaration of the function. And now I'll show you how the function looks like. Here's the definition over here. Make it a little bigger. Okay. So what do I have? In the definition of a function I have void, because it doesn't return any value, so I write void. And then the name of the function is getLine. And then I have the parameter inside parentheses, and the parameter is a character array, and I call it input underscore line, and I don't give it a length, I just give empty square brackets because I want to be able to accept any length for the character array. Then I define two variables. One I call input underscore car, and the next one I. Both of them are integer. And then I have a loop. And look what this loop does. I have a for loop that starts with I equals to 0. And look what a long condition I have here in the middle. I'll explain this condition. What I do in this condition are several things. The first thing I do is I use the function getChar. If you remember, getChar gets me one character from the input. We already did things with getChar. So what I'm doing is I'm saying my input character will get the character from the input. One character from the input, and as long as that character is not end of file, this is a symbol for end of file, we'll talk about it more later. As long as this character is not end of file and this character is not end of line, you know that /n is end of line, then we're fine. Then continue the loop and then do ++i, and inside the loop all I do is I take the input car into the next element of the array input line. So because I increments by 1 every time I get a new input car from the input, it goes into the next element of the array input line, starting from 0, then into 1, then into 2. So input line accumulates all the characters of the input, including the spaces, and at the end I put on the last element of input line, I put /0, which we saw in the last lesson, which is called a null, and this is how we end a string, with a null. So the computer knows that it's the end of the string. So now instead of scanf, I will use the getLine. I'll put it here, and I'll take out the comment. So getLine gets the line into string 1, and then I print string 1, and now it should give me the correct sentence. Let's try it. Okay, build succeeded. Let's run it. Today is a nice day. Hit enter, and yes, I got line entered. Today is a nice day. So this shows us that we actually got it right. So it read all the input and it printed it. So this is it for now, and this is going to be lesson 11 part 1.